In this video we're going to open a painting time capsule and it's going to get weird. Hello everybody. So what's in the box? Well, yeah. So I was up in my dad's loft a couple of days ago over the weekend. I moved out of my parents' house 15, 16, 18 years ago. Probably longer than that. But they still live in the same house and they've got some bits and pieces from my old room which they put in the loft. And I was rooting around up there because I was actually trying to find a copy of Hero Quest, which I once used to own. Didn't find it. But I did find this box while I was rooting around in there. And when I opened it and looked inside, I immediately knew what it was and recognised it. And recognised what was inside. It brought back this flood of memories, first of all, that was really strange and quite surprising as well. But I also realised that it's a Games Workshop time capsule, basically. It's a small one, but a time capsule nonetheless. When I explain how long I've been in miniature painting and wargames, I often say I started cold 3 years ago, which is true in the sense that I started historical wargames 3 years ago, but I did for probably no more than 9 to 12 months do a bit of Games Workshop when I was 12 years old, which is now 26 years ago. And when I say I did Games Workshop, myself and some mates in high school basically messed around with it for a term or so, in that a few of us bought some orcs, a few of us bought some elves, I bought some empire, we painted it. I don't think we even battled with it. And then we got fed up for whatever reason. People fell out of it. I sold all my stuff really quickly, got rid of it. Never returned. And that was the last time I went anywhere near wargaming until 23 years later. I ran into some minis on a work job, and that's how I got back into historical wargaming. But obviously, this is probably where a seed was planted as I was a kid, even briefly, 26 years ago. So obviously I do know what's in here, as in I've taken the lid off when I was in my dad's loft, I looked inside, and I knew immediately what this was, what was inside. I thought I got rid of literally everything related to that one dalliance with Games Workshop 26 years ago. Turns out not. Turns out there were some bits and pieces left. And at some point, Mum and Dad have obviously chucked whatever was left in this box at some point, chucked it in the loft and left it there. Probably for the best part of 26 years. So I do know a bit about what's in it, but what I did was I opened the lid, had a quick poke in there, went, oh my god. Closed the lid, because it was mucking horrible up there. Took it down, and then I thought, actually, when I actually open this and properly go through it, it will be a great video. Because inside here, I know for a fact there are some 26-year-old Games Workshop paints that I'd completely forgotten existed, and I'd forgotten that I had. So I'm fascinated to know what they are, if any of them are still usable, and also what else is in there, because there's some very weird stuff at the bottom of this box which raised loads of questions and made me think what a missed opportunity that was for me 26 years ago. So let's open it up, and I'll just film as I go. I may have to break off now and again, but in general I'm just going to go through as we go. So here we go. So wow, first thing I saw in there was these things, which is old style Games Workshop sort of promo material. So we've got this World of Hobby Games thing, which if I remember rightly, having flicked through it, was, I used to go to the local Games Workshop in Silver Street in Leicester to get paints and get my empire when we had this little weird fling with it. And they used to hand out these quite interesting little pamphlets, which is basically explaining what wargaming is, what Games Workshop is, what you can buy, what you can get. These amazing photographs of games being played. explaining what Citadel Miniatures is, games days, paint sets. So it's like a little sales pitch in a magazine, basically, for what Games Workshop is. Fascinating, because when you go through this, there is no mention of the internet in it. You know, this is 1994, I think. So there's like your list of UK stores, opening times, phone numbers for all of your stores, and you know, not a www dot in there. There's no mention of it, because it's before people were using the internet. Basically, it's probably about a good 4 years before people generally were using the internet. Then there's a really cool Citadel Miniatures painting guide, which I don't remember getting. I don't know where this came from. The kind of stuff that which we take for granted now, that you can just go and get in 5 seconds, and there's like a million videos explaining to you what to do. Back then, this is how you learn. You know, someone showed you, or you read it somewhere in a book. There's a weird sort of special edition of White Dwarf, which is kind of a different version of what I just showed you, that's been chopped up for some reason. I think a mate gave me this. I can't remember who or why. But for some reason, there's like this that's been cut up in some way. But I do remember in particular, there's a couple of things that immediately, I'd forgotten that these existed, you know, but as soon as I saw them, I remembered them straight away. But this is interesting, because this, in a way, is look at the mail order and stuff, you know. It's all mail order. This is before you can buy stuff off the internet. Amazing, isn't it? Mail order and just walk into the shop. That's how you got stuff. You tick a box on that, post. And, you know, that's how you get stuff. Weird. But that's how we did things. There's a couple of things in here, right, that there's one picture in particular that when I saw it, I hadn't seen it for more than 2 decades, okay? But there's definitely a picture here somewhere that when I saw that was like the picture, here it is. It's like the picture that I saw somewhere and went, I want that. And it's an Empire army from about 1994, the Imperial Army advances, it says there. And I'll bring up a proper picture of this. But look at that. So cool. I mean, I remember seeing that. And I think this is kind of the thing that I was like, oh my god, I need those things. I must try this. You know, that's a picture that I saw, and I distinctly remember thinking, you know, that's a goal, that's something to aim for. Interesting little thing, right? You notice all these have got the kind of like straight green bases. So they've just got sand on the bases, and then a little bit of dry brushing going on. But then they've got this sort of grassy green straight edge, clean edge around all the bases with a little curve on. Actually, this is why I paint the edges of my bases that colour even now. Because I remember seeing how they had this kind of like very neat model soldier type look to them when they're on a nice table like that. It just gave them a... So this, you still know they're models, but they fit in nicely with the table with that nice green. You know, a black or something is out of place. And even now, I'm not 100% sold on bases that sort of mould into the table, and that, you know, that you would stick stuff on the edge of your base and put something on the edge of your base. I'm still not 100% sold on them. But I think because of this photo that I fell in love with. Anyway. And then we get into the really weird stuff. Okay. So that is a mess of really old Games Workshop paints. So let's see what's in there. Okay. So you can tell what era this was. I think that's like a box to an old high school calculator, scientific calculator. God knows how much that actually got used around this time, but it just shows you the era, you know, the sharp digital calculator. Anyway, and then right, well, let's do the paints first, and then I'll talk about these later. But you know, let's do the paints and go through these paints. Citadel colour Sunburst yellow. So let's take. I'm going to take them all out and line them up, right, in one go. Citadel colour Sunburst yellow. That's obviously, you know, seen a lot of action. I don't really remember that, but anyway. We got Spear Staff brown, which again I don't remember these names or these colours particularly, but there we go. Shining gold. I remember this has been mentioned. That might even still exist in a version. I reckon that's shadow grey, maybe something like that. Again, that's seen a lot of action. And some of these paints, I think I either Shining Gold again. I think I bought some of these, and I think some have probably been given me by mate or sold to by mate. Bronzed Flesh, Citadel. Swamp Brown. The old logos and stuff. Very interesting. Sunburst Yellow again. It's like I ran out and refilled that. So it's like there's a couple of generations here, isn't there? A couple of different versions of lines. So I'd like to know how far apart they were. Bearing in mind we didn't do this for that long. Blood Red. Old Ultramarines Blue. Okay. Bestial Brown. Bestial Brown, whatever you want to call it. Whatever. The name's funny, aren't they? Another Bestial Brown. We like brown. Oh, we really like Sunburst Yellow. I don't know what it was painting though. I needed 3 pots of that. Chainmail. Okay. Shining Gold again. Is that 3 Shining Gold? Brilliant. Skull White. I remember that one actually. More Blood Red. Dark Angels Green. Chainmail. I shall read these out in a game show host style voice as we go. And we've got some Revel colours here. And Revel enamels. Oh my god. What is that? I don't remember these at all. Not at all. No idea. I got no real recollection of these at all, to be honest. I don't look at them and go, oh, yeah. But clearly I did use them and have them. I don't know. You know. And then we got... I'll talk about these guys in a minute. I think that's probably another vid, if I'm honest. For another day. But yeah, there is some miniatures in there. They're not Games Workshop. Oh. This is a Chaos Black. Okay. Alright. I think that's all of them. That's all your paints. Done. And then we've got what used to be some brushes. I mean, I can only assume that they've partly deteriorated and fell apart maybe in the box, because I don't know why I would have kept these. But you can look at the state of it. It looks like a paint stirrer rather than the brush. Look at what I used to do to my brushes. What a mess. Horrendous. They are unusable, and you know that's what a 12-year-old does. With Citadel brushes, you know, state of it. Wow. No doubt some people do have brushes like that anyway. I'm sure they're perfectly usable, but you know, they're radically different to the brushes I've got now. Anyway, right. So you know what I'm going to do, don't you? Yeah, we're going to have a go. See what happens. It's a bit like opening a fine wine, isn't it? Okay. So I've got a big fat brush that works. I've got a bit of water, and I'm just going to pop them. I'm just going to shake them and pop them and see if any of them work. So when I was picking some of those up, then bearing in mind I haven't flicked through them all before, I can tell that some of the, you know, there's weight to them, so there's something in there. And once or twice I thought there was a bit of movement, so I got a feeling that we're going to be surprised, and that 26 years later, after these were last used, remarkably, I think we might get something here, which is going to be really interesting. Bearing in mind they've been stored in a box and latterly in a loft, so we'll see. I'm just going to go through them in no particular order, just the browns, the yellows. So Swamp Brown, which is obviously very old. Shaking it. Ugh. I can't feel or hear much going on there, if I'm honest. Oh! There's something in there. It's still liquid. Might give it another big shake. could do with some agitators, really, I know, but oh, that'd be a lot of effort, wouldn't it? If we go and get them and everything. So we'll just do our best with this. And I'm probably going to get pretty dirty and just stir them a few times with the fat end of the brush. Here we go. Here we go. Look at this. We've got some colour. That is remarkable. And I've seen these theories as well about how, you know, GW paints have got these pot lids because they, you know, they run out, and you know it's kind of convenient for the manufacturer that they eventually dry out, because then you've got to go and buy more. I mean, this appears to be not entirely true as a theory, shall we say. So here we go. So I've got some paint on. I mean, that's working. I'd want to thin that down a hell of a lot, obviously, and do something else with it, get some, maybe something in there, but look at that. That is absolutely remarkable. I'm really surprised by that. Just going to try and get a bit more colour in the room for you. The white balance is off, so I know it's difficult for you to see these colours, but that's slightly more what I'm seeing. Try again. There we go. That's not far away on that camera from what I've got in front of me. Okay. So Swan Brown. We'll go through. We'll keep going. I mean, it's thick. It's probably thicker than I remember it being, so it probably has dried a bit, but that was perfectly viable. One of the bestial browns. It's like a really weird looking dip, isn't it? And that is a state. You know, I'm poking around in there and I can't feel any liquid in there at all, and there's something stuck in the bottom, and I'm going to call that one dead. Yeah, that's a dead. So we'll keep a little run going, okay? Alive, dead. Sunburst yellow. This feels like it's probably empty. Again, pretty much dead. I can see maybe some sort of something, but yeah, that's not good. Another one of the bestials. Oh! Plenty in there, and there's nothing wrong with that. Oh! Oh my. I mean, that looks pretty much like I opened it last week. That's incredible. That's been used as well, it's half empty. You know, it's not, you know, I've had a go at that and then resealed it. Let's have a quick crude dab. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. See? Yeah. Good. Cool. Next, we'll do. Should we just get through these sunbursts? That's a brown. Oh, I've got so many. Oh, that's moving around a lot. Yeah. Again, look at that. Very bright, this one. I don't remember it being this bright. I do remember the name, but my word, that is luminescent almost. It isn't, but you know, it's very bright yellow. And again, no problem. That's one of the yellow family. Okay. Well, there's no movement now. Or is there? Well, minimal. It's a good sound. Oh, what was moving there is rattling around dried old paint. So that one's a dead one. Okay. So the yellow's gone, so we're going to try Spear Staff Brown, which does feel hefty and moving. Cool. Oh, that's an interesting colour. Yeah. Again, that's absolutely fine. I'd probably shake these up more, obviously, if I was to actually use them, but I just wanted to get something, anything out of them. No wrong with that. So it's 4-3 to the living at the moment. Blood red. Can hear something. Ooh, we got some blood red. Okay. Again, there's not much left of this one, but that's a very bright red. You can, looking back at these, they're so much brighter than I remember them being, but I suppose for those few months / a year, all we did was paint, you know, classic 1990s Games Workshop fantasy. Very colourful, very red, lots of reds and yellows. Bronze flesh. And that sounds good. Ooh, that's a good colour too. I'm liking that. Happy days. Okay, so far we've had more alive than and usable than, you know, dead and buried. Ultramarines blue time. Quite a good sound. Oh, look at that. Peering in there. That's quite thick, but it's probably just like that anyway, isn't it? Yeah. No problems. Okay. You know what colour that is, I don't really need to show you, but there you go. Shadow grey. I think it's shadow grey, but I was so messy, wasn't I? 12-year-old me was a messy boy. Shake. I don't know whether you can see that, but it's an X paint. Yeah, I'm going to call that. Whoa, time of death, 2020. Skull white. Something's moving around in there. The lid's not on properly, which is a bad sign, isn't it? Oh, wow. Looks like PVA glue in there. prod inside it, see what happens. It's odd. It is no more. There's a lot of paint in there that's dried out. Obviously when you open these and you hear like a nice pop, it's obviously there's a vacuum of some kind in there, isn't there? So the ones that pop obviously sealed better and then doing better. Shining gold. There might be something in there. Ooh. Aha! Yep. That's viable. I don't know whether that's separated, and I'm going to need to do something with that to get it working properly again, but there's definitely some in there at the bottom that's perfectly usable. Not much left, but you know. Blood red again. Oof, sounds empty, pretty much. So we both tried it mess. That one's gone. Nope. They're old school shining gold. It appears I painted everything red, gold and yellow. God. Ah, it's just gone very thick. That's weird. I don't know whether you can see that, but it's kind of obviously been lying on its side. It's all settled on one side. Oops. It's all on a weird angle. But it is moving a bit, and it's a really weird yellow colour, so I think that's just kind of separated out. I mean, that's not usable as it is. I could probably do something with it, but we'll put it there in the dead for now. Right, getting through. Chainmail. I think I've got a more modern version of this somewhere, you know. Pretty sure. Give this a try. Oh, that looks redundant, I think. Nope. The chainmail, which presumably ought to replace that one because that one was nearly empty. And that sounds really good. Oh. Oh wow. 3/4 full. And it looks great. That looks as good as the newer version I've got of it. And it looks as good as any metallic paint that I use. It's moving around really nice. Yes! I mean, that's going to get used. I'm going to be using that. Very happy. Games Workshop Metallics, always decent. Chainmail from any era is a good one. Dark Angels Green. I wonder what people painted with it. Yeah. No, not much going on there. Oh. I mean, I got excited then, but anything that is in there is solid and just a bit sheeny, got a bit of sheen to it. So I think whether these, we'll talk about in a minute, whether they could be reactivated in some way, but that one is currently not usable. Chaos Black, feels pretty empty. That feels very empty. Yeah, as I feared, that has just turned into a sort of claggy mess. That's dead. Right. Another shining gold. I don't recognise these pots at all. Some of them, you know, I've got no memory of that. Just got anything we've got dates on. Just to check that I'm right, you know, that it is 94, it's not 95, 96 or anything, but nope. Not much going on there. Ooh. That's a nasty mess in there. Nah, no chance. Claggy mess. Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 paint. that are usable, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 to 9. So an even 20 GW paints. And 26 years later, 9 of them are perfectly usable. I mean, that's amazing. And they're all good ones as well, as far as I remember. Some of them, you know, Shining Gold was a good one. Chainmail was a good one. Some of the other ones I don't really remember, but yeah, great. These, I don't know. I'm not really sure where they came from. I don't really remember using them at all. I'm probably going to have to, I mean, they are old school enamels, aren't they? I'm probably going to have to yank them off, aren't I, with something. What even is that? Oh, I don't want to hurt myself doing this. It's got a number on it, I think there, 53. Some kind of blue. Oh god. Oh. Oh, it's moving. Kinda. I mean, it's extremely dry and claggy, as you can see, but there's movement there. Out of that. Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason I never want any more of these. I'm sure they're perfectly fine for some purposes, but that's, yeah, okay. We've got a metallic here, 91, interesting. Oh, God. I mean, that looks pretty. Nope. What have we got here? Got it in white. Oh wow. That enamel paint that I had from the blue has gone right into this brush. I'm about to learn a painful lesson about enamels. Okay. Probably have to clean the alcohol or something now. I can't get the lid off this. I may just not bother trying anymore. Because I don't want to stab myself. Don't do this at home. Oh. Oh god. Oh. It's going to do something. I don't know what. I don't know where I even got these from. I could not tell you. They smell weird. And there'll be lots of older wargamers laughing at me right now, because this is probably what a lot of people started with. You don't know you're born. No, I don't. You're completely right. I mean, you know, these days it's so much easier, isn't it, compared to, you know, 40 or 50 years ago. I mean, that's not really doing anything. It's a claggy mess. It's moving, but it's not really usable. Okay. Well, that was interesting. To sum up then, I remember I bought some Citadel paints because of that little dalliance. I had no idea we still had them. I was surprised. I didn't know. I was even more surprised to find that any of these work. And you know what I'm going to do with these? They're immediately going to go into my paint collection, because I'm sure I'll be finding uses for them. These, if you're a Clever Clogs and you know easy ways or clever ways that I don't to reactivate dried out old Games Workshop paints, let me know down in the comments. I want to know if I can get anything out of them, if they're savable or whether they are destined for the bin. But I'll leave it there. You know, that's a really weird trip down memory lane, a fascinating find in an old loft. You know, why don't you go and root around your mum and dad's cupboards, see what you can find, you know? I mean, I'm truly surprised about that, and this should probably start an interesting debate about the old Games Workshop paint good or no good sort of debate. I mean, I think that tells its own story, that if they're sealed properly, which some of those weren't, looking at them, you know, hadn't kept the rims clean and you could hear there was no proper seal on them, then a couple of 2 or 3 decades they're fine. Yeah. I suppose what I've learned from that is I regret giving up, but I was 12, and it's really odd that 26 years later a light bulb came on, you know, which clearly memories were stirred somehow from childhood. I do regret giving up. I think I gave up because I went to college. We were going to college and we were starting, things were getting slightly more serious at school at that time at 12, you know. And I suppose it's the kind of time that exams start to enter your mind, and football and stuff, you know. I don't know. But we all fell out of it. And I wish I kept going, of course. But hindsight's a wonderful thing. But I'm really glad that I at least had this weird little experience that I could find in a weird time capsule. It's almost like, you know, old me left a weird Back to the Future style experience for me. So that was great. Thanks for watching, everybody. I know that was long, but you know, I just thought some people who are into the hobby or maybe started with these paints or are still into paints, or if you're into Games Workshop, you'd find that interesting. But yeah, some Games Workshop paints, it turns out, are virtually immortal, and that is really cool. The other stuff in this box, we need to talk about that. What's in there? There aren't any GW models in it, I'll tell you. There's some really weird looking stuff in there, but that's for another time. Alright, give us a like and subscribe if you can. If you haven't done so already, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.